Hi everyone, my name is Miss Kulina and I'm going to be your child's third grade teacher at Spring Mill and when we return on October 19th. So either your child is being moved from a different class or your child has already had me for the beginning since the beginning of the year and they will be staying with me. So I'm going to ask you guys to follow along this PowerPoint I have for you that's going to explain some of our classroom procedures, some of the COVID expectations, and how this is all going to go. Okay, so please follow along with me. So here is my phone number to the room, and here's the extension. Also, here is my email address too, and those are also on our Canvas page. So first, a little bit about me. So I am originally from Northwest Indiana, up about 40 minutes east of Chicago. I have two dogs, Millie, it's the tan one here, and Bootsy is the black one here. And this is my husband, Nick. So I actually went to school in Indiana University at Bloomington with Mrs. Vaccarenu, actually. And then after college, my husband joined the Air Force, so we moved over into Illinois by St. Louis. So there I finished schooling, and then I decided to go for my master's, and I was doing environmental education for about 2 years there. So this is my first year at Spring Mill as the third grade teacher. So I'm one of two new third grade teachers here. So me and my husband, as you can tell, we like to camp a lot. We like to go hiking. That's one of our favorite things to do, and bring our dogs, Bootsy and Millie, with us. So your students will hear a lot about my dogs, probably see a lot of pictures, a lot of funny videos about them. They probably already know a little bit. Millie's the wild one, and Bootsy's the nice, calm one. So that's a little bit about me. So here's our daily schedule. So right now we have been starting at 8 o'clock, but that when we go back to school October 19th, that is going to change back to our normal school hours like they were last year and the year before. So 8:30 to 9 will be breakfast and morning meeting. That will happen in the classroom, inside of the classroom. From 9 to 10:40 will be our reading block. From 10:40 to 11:15 will be content. So that's social studies, science, health. From 11:15 to 11:45, we have recess, and I will talk about a little bit about that later, how that's going to go. 11:45 to 12:15 is lunch. 12:15 to 1:25 is math. 1:25 to 2:15 is specials, and I'll talk about a little bit about how that will go. 2:15 to 2:45 is just extra win time we have for extra practice. And our last subject of the day is going to be writing from 2:45 to 3:15. So our literacy instruction during our reading block and writing is we are going to be reading Lucy Calkins' reading workshop. That's what we've been doing already. So it consists of a whole group mini lesson, and then the students will be doing independent reading and writing about the book using choice books at individual levels, okay? Word work through Fontes and Pinnell will be done, and we already started that. So I will be conferring with students individually for their reading while also doing small group instruction at student level. So this is probably similar to what they did last year in second grade. Same with writing workshop. It will consist of a whole group mini lesson, independent writing time, and then I will be conferring with students individually for their writing work. Moving on to math, we use investigations, and that's what we've been using so far, and it's a workshop method. So we have a whole group mini lesson, and then we have practice activities. We have math games, and then we usually always do Dreambox on their Chromebooks, and then small group instruction will happen too. I will meet with your child usually twice a week. And then math facts, practice using extra math, which they already are doing. So communication. So there will be your child will have a take-home folder. Please make sure to check those daily. Also, I will be sending weekly newsletters home with your child on Fridays for the following week. So weekly homework will be sent home on Fridays and due the next Friday. So this includes a reading log, math facts, and math practice pages in one packet for you guys. So make it easier so things don't get misplaced or anything like that. So again, those will be sent home on a Friday and do the following Friday. Attendance. So these are kind of our school policies. So absences or tardies. It's excused if it's a death in the family, religious holiday, a doctor. Make sure you have a doctor's note. An illness, if it's an illness that requires a parent phone call to the office, okay? So make sure you call, because if you don't, then it won't be counted as an excused absence. So picking up child from school or bus, if there's a change in that, a notice required to be sent home to school that day. So if you only tell your child of a dismissal change, a phone call home will need to be made to confirm the change. And then if something happens where you have to change in the middle of the day, please call the office, okay, with your message in regards to changing, okay? So I don't always have the opportunity to check my voicemail until the end of the day. So it's always best to call the office if there's a change in your child's dismissal. So here is just a video of the classroom right now. We do not have our bulletin boards up yet. Those are going to be putting up during fall break. So then we will have time, and there will be lots of more things on the wall. So here's just a little preview. So we have the shields. Our desks are 3 feet apart. And those are some of the precautions we're taking. All right, so that is our classroom. It probably will look a little different because we'll have whiteboards in the back, in the front, bulletin boards, so look a little different. So here are going to be our COVID and daily classroom precautions. So masks are to be worn at all times unless eating or taking a sip of water. So our desks are going to be 3 feet spaced apart. So students will have individual supplies when possible, so pencil, scissors, things like that. They'll have their own supplies. So back to the recess. Playground equipment is going to be cleaned after each grade level recess. And also with that, every day the playground's kind of going to be split up into sections, and our students will remain in the same section for that day, and then we will move the next day to a different section. It's kind of going to be grouped off. So students' work areas will be wiped down throughout the day. Also, high-touch areas such as door handles, light switches, sinks, the bathrooms are going to be cleaned throughout the day by our custodial team. Also, library books, so our in-class library books. Right now, what's going to happen is every Monday, the kids will get a chance to pick out a few books from our classroom library, and they will keep those books with them for the whole week. And then at Friday, they will return the books, and that way the books have a weekend to lay out, to be cleaned, so then they can be ready for next month, that following Monday, for the next set of students to look through them. Specials will be on a 1-week rotation. So we would be doing the same special that whole week, and depending what the special is, the teacher will either come to our classroom or your student will go to wherever they need to be for specials. So that is all that I have in this PowerPoint. I will post this PowerPoint if you want to go and look at it. That is always an option too. If you need any questions at all, feel free to contact me, please. And for the last part of this video, I just want to run through a little bit of our Canvas page. So your child may need to be quarantined at any point in time. So this is when they would come and use the Canvas page. So I just wanted to run through a little bit of this page. So here's our class. You can tell because there's me and there's Bootsy and Millie. So I just want to run through a little bit. This live lesson link will not be here because they will not be able to access during school the live lesson. Okay, there won't be any live lessons if your child is switching over to quarantining. They'll have to do virtual for a little bit. So this is our Canvas page. So my page is laid out. The only buttons you'll really need to click are reading, math, writing, and content. So if you go to one of our pages, here's some virtual library. If your student's at home and they don't have access to books, they could click on one of these, or they can access Epic through their portal. And then I have all the days of the week. So if they miss, they would know which day they would go on to find the assignment. Same thing with math. writing, and content. So usually I will post an important message like right now. I try to remind our students to check writing and content every day. All right, so that is a look at our Canvas page. In case you need to know, in case your child has to quarantine, that's where they would access their work from. So remember, to access their work, they would have to just go to the subject and the day, and then they would find what work they need to complete. So that is only going to be if you're quarantined. That's not going to be something that we do every day when we're back to school like we do it now over Zoom. Stop this. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned a little bit more of how school is going to go when we return. It's definitely going to be a work in progress, so some things we might have to tweak a little bit along the way, but I cannot wait to see your kids in person. I'm very excited.